Well, the weather's good, so I might try and give you guys a demonstration on how to do focusing manually, because I don't have a focuser, so I do it all manually, just fiddling the knobs, old school. We'll try it with Nebulosity, and then I'll show you what I've learnt in SGP, which is more geared towards the automatic focusers, but you can do it manually pretty effectively actually. I think it's dark enough, let's give it a go. Okay, so now I'm in Nebulosity. Got my camera selected, and I'm just going to go frame and focus, which just runs off its quick exposures. And it's all white. I see some data, you can see it in the stretch here, stretching it a lot, but it's just not enough. That's because I've got a hydrogen alpha filter in there, so I'm going to push this up to about 2 seconds. And we start to see some rings. So it's out of focus. Now I'm just going to turn the knob here manually, turning the focus knob, just watching those circles, see if they get bigger or smaller. They're getting smaller. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, but it's still really out of focus. I don't know if you can see that. I'll zoom in a bit. It's close, but it's not quite there yet. So what I'm going to do is hit abort down the bottom here. I'll click on fine focus, and I'm going to select one of those stars. Now it's on one star that's cycling through. And I'm going to turn that knob again. You'll see that the HFR is reading 3 to 4. So as I spin this knob, I can see if it goes up or down. And obviously we want it to go down. Now the good thing about Nebulosity's process is that it has this graph. And I can watch the graph. So as I'm turning the knob, you want to turn the knob and wait for the exposure, because obviously while you're turning the knob it's bumping the telescope around. HFR's jumped right up, so it's way out of focus now. So I'm going to turn the knob around the other way and let go. Watch it come back down. That's better, we're down to 3. I'm going to keep going. Down to 2.5. Keep going. As I was focusing, the graph jumped up. That was because the star actually shifted out of the little frame, little subframe. That can happen when you're focusing because SCTs and RASs have a focus shift, so it actually moves. The object will actually move slightly, and if it moves out of frame, then that ruins what you were doing. So I'm just twiddling the knob here again, seeing how low I can get it on the V curve. And it looks like the best I can get it is really just on 2 at the minute. This will change depending, that number will change depending on your camera or whatever. But that's basically the focus routine in Nebulosity. Now you can go ahead and take a full frame or whatever you need to do, and that should turn out relatively good. Now for Sequence Generator Pro, we're going into this frame and focus. I'm going to set it to 4x4 binning at 1 second. We might need 2 seconds because I've got the HA filter in, so it's a little less sensitive. And I'm just going to purposefully put it out of focus before we do this. So you've got the ring, so we're going to I'm just going to fiddle the knob until those rings look like dots. So it's roughly in focus now. We've got points here, and if we wanted to, we could do the subframe like we did in Nebulosity. I could drag a little box around here and start that, and it would give me a subset of those. So I could focus on something in more detail that way, which is good because we're using many point sources at once. But what we need to concentrate on is this image history graph, and this image history graph for some reason doesn't work with subframes. So I'm going to stop the subframe. I'm going to start the loop again on the whole field, and now you'll see that this graph is going. And like before, we want to get this blue line as low as possible. So I'm going to keep fiddling with the knob. So that looks about as low as I'm going to get it. About 115 it went down to. So I'm going to give that a go now and stop this and take a proper frame. Okay, so the first image is in, and it looks pretty good. It's pretty close. I reckon it could be closer. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just being picky because I'm zoomed right in, and the star shape looks pretty good. But it's pretty close to very well focused. But I'll run through the routine just one more time so you get a sense of it. I do like Nebulosity's large graph a lot better. The little graph here in image history is really small, so when I'm on the other side of the observatory, it's actually hard for me to tell. But I can see it, so I'm just walking over now to the knob. I'm going to see if I can get that down. It's sitting on about 1.2. Coming down to 0.8. And now it's going back up 0.9, so I'm just going to go back a little bit on the knob, and that's pretty much the bottom of our V-curve. So I'm really happy with that now. That's a good focus. So I'm back inside now, and it looks like it's focused okay. The result looks great. Nice stars, nice detail in the nebula there. If you're wondering what HFR actually means, it's half flux radius, which is just a fancy way of saying that it's measuring how small the star is from the middle to the edge. So obviously the lower the number is, the smaller the star gets, the more in focus it is. So it's good to have that number. It's much easier to focus on than doing it visually with your eye. That's about it. Hope you enjoyed, and good luck.